Thank you to Skillshare for supporting the channel and sponsoring today's video. More on them later. If you've ever tried decluttering some of your things, you will likely have found that with some items, it's really easy to decide what to do with them or to let go of them, and with other items, not so much. After about a decade of minimalist living, I felt like sharing some of my biggest lessons and tips with you that I have learned along the way. So in today's video, I want to share 5 secrets to get better at decluttering. Going through our possessions and decluttering some of our things, it means that we will be confronted by all kinds of past decisions we've made or decisions we've put off. And it's not always easy because one single item could have many reasons for letting it go, as well as many reasons for keeping it around. And it's not always easy to kind of poke through all of the ifs and buts and really decide what you want to do with this item. So these 5 secrets really have to do with finding some clarity in this mess of potential pros and cons. So should I keep this? Should I not keep this? But it was expensive, but it was a gift, but maybe I could still use it one day. And if I do want to let go of this, how should I go about that? Should I sell it? Should I donate it? I don't want to throw this in the bin, but I also don't know someone else who will take it. So there's a lot going on. And sometimes it can just really help to know which questions to ask or what perspective to look at it from to find some clarity. Welcome back, my friends, and if you're new here, my name is Vera, and this is a place where you can get tips and inspiration for living a simpler, happier, and calmer life. So be sure to hit subscribe if you haven't already to follow along with future videos. One reason decluttering our stuff can be difficult is that our things are not just about the things, because we feel an attachment towards them, and that can come in all kinds of forms. For example, our things can serve as kind of an extension of ourself or our identity. Maybe they hold memories or emotions, and all of these things aren't even bad in themselves, but that attachment can make it more difficult for us to make a rational decision. So the first tip is kind of like a mind trick that you can do to temporarily let go of that attachment and view things more for what they are. And that is to pretend that you are a guest in your own home. So try to view your home and your stuff like a visitor, like a guest, and really try to see what your first impression is of your home, how clean it is, how tidy it is, and which items are there. For example, if you were to stay in your home as a guest for a couple of months, would you actually use all of the items that are there? Would you find them useful? Or are there items in your home that you really would never use because that's an indication that you are keeping them around for other reasons? I do want to say that there's absolutely nothing wrong with keeping some items around just for sentimental reasons. I have a little box full of this stuff. I have picture albums and a few more things, and that is all fine. But the thing is that you don't have to keep all of the things that you feel an attachment to. Really try to keep only the best ones. Sometimes we can make decluttering overly complicated. I've been there before, and when that happens to me, I like to just go back to basics and ask myself, is this useful? Is this beautiful? Because when it comes down to it, that's really all you need to know. This, of course, is inspired by the famous quote from William Morris, "Have nothing in your home you do not know to be beautiful or believe to be useful." So do you find this to be beautiful, and do you actually feel nice and happy when you look at that thing? Or is this actually useful in the sense of, are you actually using it, and not can you possibly imagine a scenario where you would use it sometime in the future, but are you actually using it? And also, is there nothing else that you own that you could also use for that thing, but that would be better? Also, give yourself permission to let go. You don't have to keep everything that you accumulate in your life, and the things you let go of, it doesn't say anything about you, about who you are, about what you find important, about how much you love your loved ones who maybe gave that to you or made it for you or anything else. So if you struggle with this, really try to just give yourself that permission. Your home isn't a storage unit, and keeping something around that's not serving you, it comes at the expense of living in a space where you feel happy and comfortable and relaxed and inspired. So think twice before keeping something around that isn't either beautiful or useful. Another trick that I've done several times and that I found to be very helpful is to pretend that you are moving to a smaller place. And I've had many people comment in the comment section that moving is a great opportunity to just go through your things and downsize and get rid of anything that you no longer want or need. But of course, most of us don't move every year, but that doesn't mean that we cannot pretend to. I have recently decluttered a bunch of things because we were actually thinking about moving and it would very likely be to a smaller place. And the move actually didn't end up happening, but I never regretted giving up these things because we kept them in a box in storage upstairs. And we would very likely to just take that box with us and store it in the new place. So why are we even holding on to that in the first place? We have more tips to go, but before we do that, I want to quickly tell you about today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community where you can watch thousands of different classes about all kinds of topics. And they're my favorite place to go if I want to learn something new or get better at something. From things like art and creativity, music and playing an instrument, journaling, writing, gardening, business skills, cooking, and much, much more. Maybe you'd like to be more creative, but you don't really know how, in which case I recommend watching Andy J. Pizza's class, which is called Find Your Style, Unlock Your Creative Identity, in which he helps you to explore who you are and how you can unlock your creative style. I've really enjoyed this class and I've actually learned some new things to use for my video editing. The classes on Skillshare are ad-free and they're always launching new ones, so you will basically never run out of things to learn. And you can also use the subtitles in Spanish, Portuguese, French, and German. So if you like learning new things or being creative or exploring new interests, then I highly recommend checking them out, and you can actually watch their classes for 1 month for free, because the first 1,000 people to click my link in the description box will get a 1 month free trial. Another great trick to get better at decluttering and make better decisions is to use a numbers goal. And that works especially well with collections. So things like your makeup or nail polish collections, books, jewelry, accessories, shoes, bags, purses, cookbooks, ceramic art statues, collector's items, whatever it is. Count them and then decide how many you want to end up with and use that as a numbers goal. If you don't know how many of them you have and how many you would like to have, so therefore also how many you want to let go of, then it's really hard to identify the ones that are your favorites and the ones that you are maybe less fond of. And what will very likely end up happening is that you maybe get rid of 1 or 2 and then call it a day. So if you have 100 books and you want to keep 50 books, that means that you can select your favorite 50 books and then donate the rest. Or you can also use a space, for example, a tiny bin that you can use for your nail polishes, and then everything that can fit in that bin can stay and the rest can go. It just makes everything so much easier. Lastly, and this is I think my favorite, is to flip the script. Because when we're decluttering, it's really easy to focus on what we're giving up by letting something go. So for example, if I get rid of these shoes that I never wear, I won't be able to wear them again. And then if some kind of situation were to come up where I would want to wear them, I wouldn't be able to. But instead of focusing on what you're giving up by decluttering something, so what you're losing, you could also focus on what you're gaining by letting this item go. For example, you're gaining more space. You are gaining a room in your home where you love being. You are gaining time and freedom because you no longer have to clean and take care of this thing. You are gaining energy because you don't have to feel guilty every time you look at it. And if you end up selling the item, you could even end up gaining some money. There are a lot of things that you can win by letting something go. So yes, you're giving something up, but chances are that you will gain so much more, and that can make it easier to make the tough choices. Also, a little bonus tip is that you can take before and after photos during your decluttering journey. So let's say that today you want to tackle a drawer or a dresser or something. Take a picture of how it was before and how it looks after you have finished going through everything. And these photos can really help to keep you motivated through your journey, especially if you're just starting out. It can be really nice because if you are thinking about all the areas in your home and all the stuff that you still need to go through, it can be a little daunting. So photos can help with that, as well as just be a nice reminder of how your home used to look like when you're kind of done. And this is something I never did, but I kind of wish I did. I would love to know your magic tip when it comes to decluttering. What is something that really made it easier for you? Please share that with me and everyone else in the comment section. Don't forget to check out Skillshare and get your 1 month free trial, link in the description box. And if you want more minimalism tips, then right here I have some minimalism mistakes to avoid. And right here is why you don't need more stuff. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Thank you for being here, and I will see you again next week. Bye bye.